Praise the Lord, and I thank Lord for giving me this opportunity that I could come here and worship with all and Lord living God. And also, I would like to thank a Lord for giving me this opportunity that I could testify what Lord has done in my life. And while we are coming to church today, and we were listening to radio, and I heard a song today, the very first song, which is "Good Good Father." And I sang that song many times, but today one phrase or one line that stuck my heart, which is he's perfect in all of our ways. So I would say I would really acknowledge that he is perfect in all of his ways towards us. So that is what God has been. That is what I could really feel in my life. That is what I could testify even today. I was born and brought up in a Christian family, so I used to go to church. We used to be, how these kids used to go to Sunday school. I've been to VBS, and I think Akka was one of my Sunday school teacher, if I'm not wrong. So I've been into church from very small age. So I know we used to go to once in a month. We used to go to gospel throughout some of the places. So I know that I'm a sinner. I need to be saved. I need to get the salvation. I need to be receive Christ of my personal self. I know all these things because I keep hearing them. My Sunday school teachers used to pray for me, but I never thought, or I never thought that I should have this. I need this salvation. I need Christ to be my personal savior. But even knowing all this, but I was being into this world, committing every possible sin that I can. Even I was in a situation where I thought God cannot forgive me because of the tremendous sins I'm committing. But I could really understand, even though I'm into this sin, I could see God never left me. He was never impatient with me. He was kind enough. His love was I could see he is loving at whatever the situation I am in, where I am in, whether I'm going to whether I'm praying or not praying. I see his love never changed in my life. This unconditional love of Christ, that started to change my heart. It started to bring some change. I don't know, that I started to feel this is the time that I have to accept Christ to be my personal savior. Then so that on August 14 2015, recently, a couple of years back, then I got saved, and after a week I have to come to US to do my masters. So after coming here, I got baptized in Chicago church, which I used to go in July 23rd on 2016. So after this, I was really going ups and downs in my spiritual life. Maybe my graph in spiritual life may be ups and downs, but I can really tell you the graph of Lord's love has been always up, wherever the situation I might be in. So today I want to share a few things. How God is leading me, how God is leading me in my spiritual life, even in my physical needs, even in my job, my finances, whatever it is. I feel there is nothing in there. I don't see hope, but God's suddenly, it's been a miracle in my life. Every time if I go back and see these things in my life, I always feel this is some miracle that happened in my life. So I want to share quickly three things. I don't want to take much time. Quickly, three things how God has been leading me. So I did my bachelor's back in India. Then I got a job. I could really say that I don't deserve to get a job. After as soon as I finish, I'm not that intelligent guy, but I could surely say, I could really testify, it is from the Lord I got the job. After that, when I was doing my job, some of my friends were in US. Then they asked me, they used to talk to me, and they used to say, why don't you come to US? Then I know financially I cannot afford it. So I never had a desire to come to US. I had a desire, but I never tried to put that into action. But still, I had that desire in my heart that I should come to US. Then somehow God also, I had my parents who used to support me in everything, who will support me in everything. They used to encourage me. So I took a decision, okay, let me try. Why don't I try to go to US? Then let me tell my financial situation. I want to tell you this because maybe you will understand my financial situation. My friend sent me some money to write my IELTS and GR exam, which is a basic thing to do. So I don't have money to do that. My friend sent me that. Then when I was doing my job, I got a credit card. Then they also gave me some ready credit, some $1,000 worth $1,000. Some of my, one of my colleague used to give me some money. I gathered everything. Did my all this application process, visa process, and everything I did. And I booked my flight. I don't have money. I booked my flight, taking my mom's gold, put in a bank, and got that money. That's how I booked my flight ticket. After that, I came to US with $750 in my hand. I didn't get it in my hand. I put it in India. I said, whenever I need, I'll let you know. You put it in my bank. That's what I said. I would say that I came to US with $750. It was 50,000 that time. Then I was in California. I got to a different university. Then I decided some reasons I have to go to Chicago. Then I entered Chicago with $30 in my hand. I stayed in California for 15 days, so I have to spend that $750 flight charges to Chicago. So and I was left with $30. Then I was questioning Lord, I came to US in August. Now the situation is like I have to, start my master's in January. Then why did you bring me here? Then one question. Then the second question was, why did you bring me to California if I have to join in Chicago? Then these were my two questions. I got these answers after 4 or 5 months. I hope you all know the situation where some of the universities in California, they ran into problem because of the recognition, that issues. If I would have come in January, I would have been into one of the people or one of the students who got deported back in India or who got deported after coming to SFO. I would be one of those students. If I continued my studies in August, I would have one of the students who are facing problem even today because of their completion of masters in that university. Or I would have one of the person who has to transfer to a different university and start my master's course again. Then I said, Lord, I never thought that I thought, Lord, what is happening with me? You brought me here. I know, even through all this process, you were with me. Now, after coming to US, you put me in such a situation that I cannot go anywhere. I was left with $30 in my hand. What should I do? Then I could really tell now. Whatever Lord has planned, that was perfect. That was perfect. I want to tell this for the glory of God. I paid my college fees on time. I used to have some installments. I used to pay everything on time. I am the same guy who came to Chicago with $30 in my hand. I couldn't do that. That's not my strength. I don't know from where I got, but God provided me in a way that I never thought that I'll get in that way. Just think I know that God will help me. Then second thing I had was I've been close to church, even though then when I came to California, I took one church address, then I came. But when I was going to California, I had no people to contact, no one to contact, but I had a real desire that I should go to church. I should go to a church where I can grow spiritually, because that's where it's been like, I'm a kid in my Christian life, because that's where I saved. It's been like few months. So I was looking for a church. Then in California, I came to know that we can find churches through Google. That's the input I got from speaking to one of the brother when I was sitting with one of the students. I would say that one of the students. Then I went back to Chicago. Then the very first day, I searched in Google. I got the list of churches in California, in Chicago. Then I took that list and texted to that some of the numbers. Then I was talking to Martin uncle. I hope you all know Martin uncle. So I said, Uncle, I'm here. Then he said, oh, you are there. So we have one sister. Then I know. So we have one sister. And he said, they have a church. Call to them. I also know them. But I didn't know that they are there. So I really don't know them by face. But I know that those uncle's daughter is in US. That's how I know. So he gave me that number. I texted them. And I was thinking, I had only one desire. Whichever church I go, for the first time, I would continue to go to the church, thinking that Lord gave me that church. So that was my desire. So when I texted to some of the numbers from Google, then one Anna called and he said, okay, brother, you're there, you're far from us. So I'll try to pick you up on Sunday. Then after that, I talked to Martin uncle. Uncle gave me a different number. Now I had some struggle in me. Uncle gave me a number. I have to go to which church uncle gave. But this Anna has already called. He said he'll take me. So I had that struggle. Then somehow, I don't know, he didn't call me after on Sunday. Then after that, I didn't get a reply from the number uncle gave me. Then I was thinking, uncle gave this number and they are not replying. Then after some days, I got call and said, Anna called me and he said, sorry, I was in Mexico that I couldn't call you. And I thought this is one of the number from Google. That's where I got the call from. But after going to the church on Sunday, I came to know that I sent a message to that brother and uncle gave the number of Akka. So that's how God, I was clearly know that I have to go to the church. Some other church came into picture, but that's not my church. Maybe it's a good church. I'd say that I know them now. That's a good church. That's a blessing. But that's not where I have to be. My place is a different place. My church is to be different. God has some purpose to place me in the church. God used me there somehow, and that I would really say now, if that church was not there, if I don't know that church in Chicago, if I don't know those people in the church in Chicago, I'm sure I don't know how, I couldn't imagine my stay in US or doing my master's. They were like a family. I came to know that if God is sending you somewhere, if God has some plan for you, He will prepare everything. He will prepare everything and He will send you there. He will place all the people. I would really say, in India lo unnappudu kuda I had a lot of relatives, my big family, but I couldn't get that love from them. But when it is from love, the love which is from God's people, they share the love of Christ, then only I can really feel that real love. They pray for me, they encourage me spiritually, they encourage me even if there are some needs, they will take care of those needs. I'm one of the person in their house. That's how they treated. I could really say it is not because of social gathering or some, because it is from the Lord's providence. Lord, they took care of me that. Then the third thing I would say that this job, the job I just got. So I finished my master's in May 2017. Then even before finishing my master's, I used to think, I know few folks in IT industry, I know some directors, I told you right of the church, I know the church curious about me, they take care of me, I had these few hopes on them, looking at people and trusting them that they will take care of them. Then I was thinking, Lord, I think you don't need to intervene here. Somebody will take care of my job. That's how my hope used to be. Then 7 months I was jobless, and these 7 months I would say now that was a blessing. God allowed me to be jobless for that 7 months. It was a blessing in my entire life. These 7 months, God taught me so many things, so many spiritual things that I haven't heard or learned throughout my journey of being a Christian. There are some, he has to deal with my pride. He has to deal with my pride. He has to deal. When I was doing my master's, when I was in India, I used to look at those people who didn't get a job, and I used to look down at them, saying, "These fellows didn't get a job. What they are doing? Are they going to college? Get a job in US is so easy." Those are the few thoughts I had, and God has to answer every question. I forgot this. Even I thought these things. I discussed these things with some of the friends, and I forgot it. God didn't forget them. After 7 months, He answered each and every question. So and so time you thought this, what is your situation now? So and so time you thought this fellow is useless because he didn't get a job. Why are you useless now? These are the questions God asked me. And I started going and asking, Lord, forgive me, this is some, I understood what the real situations are. Then I used to say, think, 7 months, it's been so long, and my family and I need a job so badly. Then I was thinking, Lord, I need a job. Then I was trusting on the Lord. I thought I was trusting on the Lord, but the fact of the matter is I was trusting in people. Then in January, I was in church and Anna was taking the worship message. So he was he was speaking from Psalms 118, in the chapter in verse 8. It says, "It is better to trust in the Lord to trust in the man." I don't know. I was also reading that. I don't know what he spoke that day. I was sitting in the very first place. Back of my mind, I had all these questions. I came to know, oh, God will speak in this way also. All these questions he asked me, where was your trust when you needed job? You have seen lot of things in your life where you thought there is no hope, and you saw a miracle in your life, and you saw some great thing that you thought that will not happen. And when this small thing, when you need a job, where did you look? You thought you are sufficient to get a job, so the reason you didn't look at me. Where was your hope? Where was your trust? These were the questions I asked. Then I immediately said, Lord, forgive me. I was trusting in people. This is not one confirmation. In the very week, the second confirmation, I watched live in my church back in India. He also, I think Anna was taking, that brother was taking worship message or final message, the same word. He's speaking about Psalms 118:8. And the third confirmation, I watched a Bible study, the same message. He's talking about, and uncle is also talking about Psalms 118:8. Then I said, Lord, I have to change my direction now. Then I started leaning onto God and said, Lord, forgive me. I've been looking into this world, looking at the people. Yes, they might be a providence from you. I'm trusting at the providence that God has provided me instead of looking at the Lord. Then after that, I got an interview. Then I didn't do well. I was in frustration. I was driving. So one of the employers, they called. They said, "Hey, you have one interview. Will you attend?" I said, "Today I'm not. It's not possible. I'll not do it. I'll not take it." I rejected. I'll not take it any interviews today. Anyway, I'll not be able to do it properly. So I'll not take the interview. He said, "No, you have to take." I don't know that guy, but he was arguing with me. Why is job important for you? I got angry. Man, it's my job. Why you are much bothered about me? Then he was arguing. I said, "Okay, if you can reschedule, I just cut the call." Then he came back and said, "Okay, they're okay. Infosys is ready to interview on Monday." Then I said, "Okay, I'll interview. That job, I answered only basic questions. He asked me basic questions. I answered those basic questions. This guy started talking. Okay, I think we are in good position. We'll meet you. Take my number. Call me if you need any help. We'll meet you in there. My manager will call you." I started to get some hopes. After that, I thought, okay, everything is okay. I'll be getting jobs. 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, I'm not getting any response. Then I asked that interviewer. I said, no, is everything okay? You don't need to do. There is no second interview. Everything is fine. Then I got a call saying you have a second interview. First interview only somehow 50%, 60%. This guy had some corner or whatever it is. If this guy made me to pass. Now second interview, those two people sat in the interview and they were asking me some questions. So he's asking left and right. I don't know all those questions. Then I thought, Lord, I thought I got the job, and I started praising you. I got the job at the fine day. These two people interviewed, and I'm sure they will give a negative feedback. Then I left my hopes and sat in home. I said, okay, I need to search for a different opportunity. On that night, I was doing my quiet time, and in Proverbs 25:25 it says, "As cold water to a thirsty person, so is the good news from a far country." And I trusted the very moment that my home is always Chicago. If it is out of Chicago, is always a far country for me. I was very sure, yes, I got this job. And let me tell you, the very next day, I got the call. They said, "Man, you are hired. We'll do the processing. We'll do everything." Then I said, okay. And I was very sure when I got this word, I was very sure that I'll get that job. After I got that job, I got some other things. That vendor wants to make more money, and he said, that guy he got a different opportunity, so he's looking for a different opportunity. So he wants to get pay more. I didn't ask that. Then this guy went, and those Infosys guys are there, little angry. Why you are doing like this? I said I didn't do this. Even also there was one guy who was moving out of the company. I was a replace to that guy, so they wanted him to retain him also. I came to know all this situation. I was again doubting, Lord, you said I got this job, and again I see these obstacles in front of me. God cleared everything. There was no obstacle, there was nothing in that. And also let me tell you, this job opening was from 6 months. I got this job opening from 6 months. I always sent resume. I just used to reply with my resume. Never it went to the client. But God has to deal lot of things in my life. Because of that, my resume didn't go to the client. After 6 months or so, my resume the interview went good. It was fine. It is not because they didn't find any other resume with my skill. After going there, I was working. In a few days, I was in transition with the other guy who interviewed me. There were two other profiles with more experience in the same skill. I saw his reply saying to project manager saying, I don't need to interview other people. He is okay. I am good. His project manager said, are you really okay? Because we have two more profiles mapped to this resource, to this requirement. He was straightforward saying no. Even though there was two profiles, I could really understand that time that it is Lord that has blessed me with it. Even though when there is a requirement, he didn't give me that job when I wanted. But when Lord, he knows which timing, or he knows his timing when to give, because he has to do a lot of things. If I get a job as soon as I finish my master's, I'm sure I would have not been here saying that's from the Lord. I would have ruined my spiritual life in different aspects. That's how God dealt with my life. And also there I could understand that Lord has been specific purpose in my life. It was not accident I was there for any reason. He wants to do mighty things in my life, unless if I had that small faith. And God taught me all these experiences. So even in any situation, whatever my situation was, he was always there. He taught, he assured me many times that he will take care of me. He reminded me of the sparrows, how sparrows, and he taught me you're better than those sparrows. That's always that been into my heart all the time. I thank Lord, that he always blessed me in every situation. Also in every situation I used to came to know this is that situation is making me a better person or a bitter person. Always I been a bitter person rather, but God was trying to make me a better person. So I thank Lord. And also today morning I was thinking what to share. Anna asked me last night, will you be able to so I was thinking, Lord, what should I need some few verses to get the confirmation. So I got the confirmation today morning from Psalms chapter 139. It says, you saw me before I was born and scheduled each day of my life before I began to breathe. Every day was recorded in your book. How precious it is, Lord, to realize that you are thinking about me constantly. I can't even count how many times a day your thoughts turn towards me. And when I waken in the morning, you are still thinking of me. This is the thought Lord has blessed me. The Lord has put in my heart that He is thinking about me. He's there to take care of me. I will finish in 1 minute. So I today I remember one illustration from one of the godly man. I'll tell this in Telugu, which is very నాకు ఒక ప్రైమ్ మినిస్టర్ నాకు ఒక ప్రాబ్లం ఉంది. I have some problem in my life and I seems that to be very impossible, and I'm going through a bad situation. Now I called to a prime minister. He's my friend for let me think, prime minister is my friend. I called to that guy and said, hey, I have this problem. Then he said, okay man, don't worry, I'll take care of you, you relax. I'm sure that I'll be relaxed. Whatever the situation is, I'm relaxed. Now I'll sit at home. Somebody will come and say, you are in this problem, you're relaxed, what is this? I'll say that I told to that prime minister, he said he'll take care. Then the next thing was, they asked, You have a mighty God who put that president, who created this universe. He is your father. When he is in with you, why you worry for small things in your life? You just tell him, he will take care of you. You just have that faith that you already told him and he is in your work. Do you have this kind of faith? That was the question they in the message I heard, and that really changed my way of thinking, the way I look at the problems. That's also one thing I learned is, in even these miracles we see, every miracle God is doing something impossible. He's asking people to get that water fill up to the brim. He could have just say, let there be wine. There will be wine for sure, but he's asking people to put that fill that water to the brim. There I understood that Lord is asking me to do what I have to do, which is possible for me, and he will do the impossible thing. So these are the things God taught me all these days, and I really thank God. And also I'm sure that these are the prayers of my parents, church, who's been constantly praying for me, and I always thank Lord for his continuous guidance and lifting me when I fall down. And and also, this is what God is doing, that's for sure. I thank for the church that they gave me this opportunity to speak, and all glory to the Lord.